What's up guys, I'm Hamilton Keats and you're watching Azoras TV. Today I want to talk about the 5 financial mistakes that are costing you a fortune. Let's get into this. 1. Waiting to invest. One of the biggest advantages you have the younger you are is the power of time. Time to withstand short-term market fluctuations in price and time for your returns to compound. Compound interest has to be the best reason to start investing as early as possible. Who doesn't love earning interest on their interest? Now consider this. If you invested $100 every month starting at the age of 20 at an average rate of return of 8% per year, by the time you're 65 years old, you're going to have over $500,000. But if instead you decided to put this off for a few years and enjoy spending an extra $100 per month on beer or avocado toast, and finally decide to start saving by the age of 25, that same $100 per month invested would only be worth $337,000. Now, you're probably thinking, but wait, I only skipped $6,000. Well, that's the power of compound interest. That $6,000 you chose not to invest has cost you an extra $167,000 at retirement. If you're over 25, don't panic. My message to you is not it's too late. You just need to be more aggressive at saving the closer you are to retirement. Never underestimate the advantage of time. Aggressively saving early on in life is the greatest advantage you can give yourself in the future. So start saving and investing as early as possible. Number 2, not having a private pension. Okay, like I just said, investing early is one of the best things you can do. Well, investing into a private pension is even better. Here's why. Pension tax relief. In the UK, if you're a base rate taxpayer, you'll get 20% tax relief on pension contributions. So as an example, let's say you invested £90 per month. That's around about $100. Before tax, that $100 was actually worth $125. So if you contributed $100 per month of your net income to your pension, you'd actually be investing $125 per month. That's an instant 25% top up. You've got to love how percentages work. Pension tax relief makes it more attractive to save for the future by giving you more bang for your buck now. Since the tax relief you receive on your pension contributions is paid at the highest rate of income tax you pay, the higher your rate of tax, the more you could receive. So, if you're an additional rate taxpayer paying 45% tax, in order to make back that 45% you pay in taxes, you'd have to get a return of 81.8% on your investments, which is why not having a private pension is by far the biggest mistake I see people making. A lot of you may have ISAs or other tax-efficient savings accounts, but you're still not contributing enough to your pensions, and to me, that's just crazy. You're missing out on the tax contributions and making it easier to dip into that money whenever you want it. In fact, as much as 30% of you aren't saving for retirement and 15% of you have no savings at all. The excuses people usually make are either that they can't afford to or that they're planning to do it later. Now, there will be people that are genuinely struggling to make ends meet, and that's okay if that's you. Focus on what you need to do to get by and gradually build up your emergency savings. But for those of you okay with spending money on cigarettes or booze, but not saving for retirement, cut the crap. There's no better time to save for retirement than now. Save early, save often. And if you're telling me you can't afford to, then it's time for my next point. Point 3, not budgeting. Not budgeting is an easy way to end up living paycheck to paycheck or fall into debt. As hard as you're working to make your money, there's always someone working harder to take it from you. Companies thrive on impulse purchases. If you're disciplined and set a budget, you can avoid throwing money away on things you don't need. The obvious culprits are eating out and subscriptions. A survey found that in the US and the UK, the average person spends around $250 per month on subscriptions. And in a lot of cases, you could stand to cut that in half and free up an extra $125 per month to invest. Time for point 4, expensive cars. No, Andy, expensive cars, not cats. Cars! Originally, I was going to say car loans, but there will be some people that have $40,000 in savings and buy a $40,000 car in cash. So I didn't want to let you off on a technicality. Before you buy a car, think about the opportunity cost. What's going to have the greatest impact on your financial position down the line? Owning that car or investing that money? Car ownership is expensive. You've got the actual cost of the car, then you've got taxes, fuel, maintenance, and insurance. So my first question to you is, do you even need a car at all? Some of you will, but if you're living in a major city with good public transport, the answer is probably no, unless you need it for work or school runs. Otherwise, you're throwing money away each month on a depreciating asset that costs not just to own, but also to maintain. If you're taking out a loan, it might be tempting to buy something a bit flashier, especially when you're not paying for it up front. Dealers are renowned for luring unsuspecting buyers into spending more than they wanted by pushing longer-term loans. In fact, they make more money on loans than they do selling the cars. So it may look cheap with lower monthly payments, but it's not. And for those of you that do need a car, what type of car are you driving? I wouldn't be surprised if half of you could benefit from a downgrade. So if you have to have a car, buy it for its utility, not for its looks, unless you've got money to burn. 5, credit cards. There's nothing outright wrong with credit cards if you're disciplined enough not to abuse them. The trouble is, most people do. And with interest rates over 17% on most credit cards, you don't want to rack up debt on them. There's nothing worse than paying away money to interest on personal loans. It's dead money. You might be tempted to buy something by paying for it in installments, more so if your credit card offers an interest-free period. Don't do this. If you can't afford to buy it outright, don't buy it at all. I've seen far too many people fall into the trap of spending money that they don't have because it's tomorrow's problem. If you're stuck with credit card debt, pay as much of your free cash towards the debt as you can. There's nothing worse than leaving the debt outstanding because you're only paying the interest. Now don't get me wrong, credit cards aren't inherently evil. In fact, they can be great for building up your credit rating and even for getting free perks. If you're going to spend the money anyway, then it makes sense. The most important thing to remember is if you're going to have a credit card, treat it like a debit card. Well guys, those are my 5 financial mistakes that are costing you a fortune. If you like that video, please go ahead and smash that like button. Every time you do, a kitty gets a treat.